coming into the scallop grounds now. Boats are a lot less than they were 10 days ago on opening day. I see probably 50 out here. There was probably 500 out here 10 days ago. All right, we're gonna do a scallop update for you. It's July 9th, so 9 days into the season. When we were out here on opening day, scallops were everywhere. We filled up the boat, 10 gallons of scallops for the boat limit. We had 9 of us on the board. Today there's only 3 of us, so we're allowed 6 gallons. The boats have thinned out quite a bit. Give you a shot of the boats behind me. There's probably about 50 out there or so. Opening day we probably had 500 or more. It was you could walk across them basically. So let's get in the water, see how long it takes us to get our limit. 6 gallons is what the target is. All right, we already got 2 guys in the water. I'm always the slacker here. We'll get going here in a second. We'll see what we got down below us. First spot was pretty much a bust. Looks like it's been picked over pretty hard. You can see we got the fleet right here. A lot of boats in here. We're gonna try out a little bit deeper. folks. All right, that's the end of the day. It's July 9th, so 9 days after the opening of scallop season. It was they're picked over pretty good. There's still plenty there, but they're picked pretty good. You got to search for them. We dropped in, I think, 5 different spots, and we did get our limit. So I got my 2 gallons right here. I'm gonna go home and make something pretty decent with them. So that's kind of an update of where we are in Citrus County 2025. Thanks for sticking around. Alright, funnest part of scalloping is catching them. The best part of scalloping is eating them. And the worst part is cleaning them. But it's got to be done. So here we go. We got the scallops, my 2 gallons from yesterday. Get yourself a big pot for catching shells. Get yourself a small container for collecting the scallops, and you need a spoon. So, pretty straightforward. Most of these things, they've been on ice overnight. You don't have to do it overnight, but they're on ice. They'll come, they're already opened up like that from being in the cold. Dark side up, light side down. Take your spoon and slide it right along the inside of the top shell, and you'll actually slice the muscle open off the top shell. Peel it back. So that's what the inside looks like. That's the muscle, that's what we're going to eat. And we just need to get these guts away and then get the muscle off the bottom shell. So, top shell's removed. Come in here and start at the back. And just go all the way around it, scraping towards the muscle. And you'll see that thing starting to peel right off. And there goes all the guts right down the drain. So that muscle is the piece we're going to eat. That's the part that just gets sliced right out. And into the container. So you can see it's pretty easy. It just takes a little while. Alright, last little thing I like to do. So you can see I shucked about 1.5 to 1 3/4 gallons. I got about a half a quart. You can see they got a little bit of dirt and guts still on them. Get a little gritty sometimes too. Ice and bowl, fill it with cold water. Just let it go in there. Then we'll stir. See that water's turning a little milky, and the stuff coming off, and you see how nice and white they're getting. Looking great. Get rid of some of these ice cubes now. Get yourself one of these babies. Don't even know what they're called. On something to blot them out. There you go. Those are ready for the freezer, the refrigerator, or the pan. Let's see what we're going to do with them.
I'm gonna make a cassoulet, scallops cassoulet. He went out last night and caught a ton of scallops, so we're gonna use those to make a cassoulet. And then I'm gonna show you a great hors d'oeuvre that you can use the scallops for. It's a scallops casino. So hope you enjoy the video. So first we're gonna start by chopping some veg. We have red bell pepper, a lemon, some parsley, some garlic, some shallot. So this is going to be our base for our cassoulet. So I'm going to start with the red pepper. I'm only going to use probably a half of it. You can do whatever you want as far as your taste is. I'm just going to get half of it, and I'm going to pull out the seeds. And you really don't want like this membrane because it's kind of like pithy and tough. So it's kind of bitter. So you want to like cut that out and get the seeds out. So we really want these to be kind of a really fine mince because we don't want them to overpower the sweet scallops. So we're just gonna this is as far as I'm gonna go with these. I'm gonna kind of tilt the board so you can see. They're just kind of, you know, chopped up really kind of a fine mist. And then I'm just gonna put these in this ramekin. And then I'm gonna quickly rinse my hands and come back for the next thing. The next thing I would do is my shallot. So shallots a lot of times are really, really small in the store, but I was really lucky and I got these like massive ones. So normally they're pretty small, so I would say about 3 shallots. This is one big one, and I'm just going to use this one. I prepped 2, but that's, I think, overkill. So one of these or 3 small ones, and you can see the size of it here. So I'm just going to do the same mince on that. That looks about good, so we'll put that into another dish. And I think that's probably good right there, so I'm going to discard the rest of these. And then we'll move on to the next. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is just chop up some parsley, which is, people underestimate parsley. It really does add a lot of fresh flavor. And what I like to do is, if you can see what I'm doing, if you like twist it like this and start chopping it, it makes it a little bit easier to get it fine, which you don't want. No one wants a big piece of parsley in their tooth, so this is what we're gonna do. Let's just show you what it looks like. Not sure if you can see it, so there it is, parsley cut. So we'll put that in another ramekin. So that's done. Now we're moving on to the garlic. So we have 3 cloves of garlic here, if you can see them. We're gonna finally chop these too, so that's next. So this is the garlic, and it looks really big in the picture, but it's not. It's really small. All right. Okay, this is our garlic, all chopped up. We're going to chop up some bacon real quick. Let's just do that. And this is another tip from me, which is when you're doing a really fatty meat, like bacon, it's really good to get it partially frozen, to chop it, because it's got so much fat content. You need partially frozen and a really good knife, and it's still not easy. So what you want to do is stick it in the freezer for a little bit, and we want this the same size as our veg. So we're gonna get it going, and you can see how much easier it is to do this when it's partially frozen as to being raw. It really is a blessing to stick it in the freezer for like 30 minutes and get it, you know, kind of partially frozen, because it's really hard to cut it when it's not frozen. It just kind of wants to go all over the place. Okay, so we've got the bacon in the pan right now, and it's gonna render itself. I'm gonna turn it down to low, and I will be back when it's cooked, and then we'll start with the vegetables. All right, so this bacon is done doing all its goodness and glory, and I can kind of, it's really hard to see it, but I'm going to use a slotted spoon to get this out of the pan, and once it gets on this plate I can show you what it should look like, which is just tiny bits of deliciousness, because it is bacon, and who doesn't love bacon, right? So I'm just going to take all this out, and then I'm gonna reserve probably about 2 tablespoons of this bacon fat to cook our veg, which we've already prepared, and it's ready to go. So, and now I'm gonna just pour off a bit of this bacon fat, because it's way too much for my veg. I don't need that kind of amount. All right, so I'm gonna start with my red pepper and just put that in there. And we're not gonna waste anything, so we'll just make sure we get it all in there. And we can do our shallot now, for sure. Don't put your garlic in yet, because garlic has a tendency to burn really fast, and we don't want a burnt flavor in this dish at all. So we're just gonna put this on, I would say, medium heat, let it render, and at this point I would do a little bit of salt and pepper, because the salt is going to release the moisture from the shallots and the peppers, and the pepper, of course, is going to give it a little bit of extra flavor. Okay, perfect. This is looking fantastic. All right, so this is looking really good. Because I chopped it up so fine, It's ready to get the garlic in there. And then I'm gonna talk to you about wine for a second. So we've got the garlic in. And once you smell the garlic, then you know it's time to put the wine in. So once you smell the garlic going, which is just about now, then we're gonna put a little wine in there. So I would say it's about a 1/4 cup of wine, maybe a little more, maybe a 1/2 cup. And that's gonna reduce down. This is looking amazing. I can show you. Let's see if I can show you. It's just percolating and it needs to reduce to about half. So as soon as you smell that garlic, put the wine in, because if you don't, the garlic's gonna burn and then you're gonna have a mess, and that's not what you want. All right, so while this is reducing, we're gonna make a compound butter with this whole mixture. So I'm taking a beautiful stick of butter. I'm gonna do a teeny bit, like half of this parsley for now. And I'm gonna smash this. All right, so I love this thing, not necessary. You can just squeeze your lemons just fine. So I'm doing a 1/2 a lemon in here. There you go. All right, we are definitely reduced. I will show you. You can kind of tell when the wine smell just changes a bit. So this is good to go. It's going in. Okay, so we've got butter, lemon juice, a little more parsley, I think, the red peppers, the shallots. All of this is getting mixed up. So at this point, we want to put this in the freezer and take a break, and then the bacon is going to go in. The butter is melting and it needs to solidify again, so we need to wait until that happens. So that's it for now. Check back with you in a few minutes. Okay, so we've got our compound butter mixture here, which is all of our goodness in there. We're about to mix in the bacon into this, which is gonna go in right now. Which is gonna add some deliciousness. So what I did was I made all of these flavors and then put some butter in there and let it go in the freezer for a bit, maybe like 20 minutes about, to get it all melded together, and so it's gonna be yummy. Now what we need to do is here's our scallops. We have scallops. It's like the star of the show, right? So what we need to do is dry off the scallops. So I've got some paper towels here. I'm just gonna dump them out. So we're gonna dry these off a little bit. But first, we're gonna do the panko breadcrumbs. So what I wanna do is a teeny bit of olive oil in this pan. And a teeny pad of butter. Because butter makes everything better. And then we're going to take some panko. And at this point, I would use a fork to separate the panko and the butter and all the yumminess. And I just want to get like a nice toast on it. And I can show you in a second what it's going to look like. So we've got some breadcrumbs and some yumminess, butter, olive oil. And the reason why I start with a little olive oil first is so that the butter won't burn, because the butter will burn very fast. And I think we're pretty much there. We're there. So we can turn that off for now. And I'll show you what I like it to look like this. So I'll just show you. And I've taken the scallops out of their little container and I'm drying them off. We have our breadcrumbs, which are beautiful, perfectly done. And I'm just gonna quickly wipe out this pan a little bit. Perfect. And I did, while we were on our little break, I did need to grate up some Parmesan cheese for the top of all of this. Now we're gonna sear these scallops. So first thing, I'm gonna do a teeny bit of olive oil in the pan. And I have taken the scallops, and I don't know if you can see from there, but I can show you. I have dried them off, completely dried them, so that when I put them in this pan, they won't be totally wet. So they're going in the pan. So I am showing you two different ways to do this. One for a party and one for, you know, just you and your guy at home. So I hope you enjoy it. In start doing our little hors d'oeuvre ones. So we'll grab like 2. Okay, so this is how they look. They look beautiful, perfect. Now we have to just do, the next thing would be, well, I need to do the cassoulet, of course. So here we go. Okay, let's see. Here's what I've got so far for the cassoulet. Here's what I've got so far for the hors d'oeuvres. And this is the compound butter right here. So we're gonna start putting, let's start with the cassoulet. Okay, that looks really good for that. And now we're gonna do the party hors d'oeuvres, which is gonna be on top of that. Let's see if I can do this decently so you can see, but I don't know if you're seeing. So, okay. So this is where we are at this point. We've got the cassoulet and the hors d'oeuvre. I don't know if you can see, but now we're gonna do, hold on. We're gonna do the breadcrumbs, which, I don't know, they're like, they make it better, so let's just do them. They're gonna go on top like this. Parmesan cheese on everybody gets a teeny bit, which is delicious. Teeny bit of fresh parsley to finish it off. Because who doesn't love that, right? Now it is going into the oven. Want to see if you can, I don't know if you can see this. This is the cassoulet. This is the hors d'oeuvre, which, like I said, you could make, honestly, you could make it 5 days before, stick it in the freezer, let it defrost, clean your kitchen, and you're done. All right, let's see what happens. Okay, we have the hors d'oeuvres out. This is what they look like. And the cassoulet. which is, this is what it looks like. So. All right, we're ready to plate it up, and it looks spectacular. I hope it's as good as it looks. So we're gonna do a little bit of this diced, I don't know if you can see it, it's diced pimento. We're gonna put a little bit on the top of everything, which is gonna make everything look pretty. So, and I'm sure tastes sweet. So let's do it. Just, I mean, not a lot, just a little bit of flavor here and there, and a lemon, which is just kind of cool, right? So we're gonna do that. And for this, I don't think we really even need to have this appetizer, but we're gonna give everybody one, I think. It's just my husband and I, so there you have it. Enjoy.